So shine, so shine, shine bright. So shine, so shine, shine bright.
Welcome, everyone. Oh my goodness. Thank you for being here. This is our final episode of the Soul Shine Summit series, and we are so pleased to be here with Viviane Chauvet. She's an Octarian hybrid and a New Earth leader who is truly inspiring us afresh as we walk our journey and remember who we are. We hope that you are shining your light so brightly. Wow. How are you, Viviane? Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you, Lauren, for having me, and thank you everyone for joining us. I am doing great, embracing the energy of this new timeline, this new year. And yes, it is a time for all of us to really radiate our light and to shine more than ever. So it is just very in synchronicity. I'm so thrilled to be here.
All right, we are going to talk about quantum awareness for planetary ascension. It's really wonderful. And I think it's always so special to tune in to the energies of this year. You know, I want to say, did it feel like that gateway after the solstice through the Christmas day, Kwanzaa, that 25th day? That it was beautiful, yet it was also, I think, one of the roughest holiday transitions. Are you feeling that too?
100%, Lauren, and I would say it was like a funnel energy. Like we
Yes.
went through that very condensed funneling of energy, especially right around Christmas, all the way to the new year. And that December itself of 2023 was extremely purging. I mean, everything that was hiding in the closet came out to the surface, so to speak. And plus the holiday season is always have so much connotation of past memory, historical imprint, memory or emotional trigger points. And then we were moving through the funnel as we speak in between, I would say, even starting around Christmas Eve, all the way to the New Year's Eve, to New Year's Day. That
Wow.
condensation was very palpable. So I'm glad that you're mentioning it because it really was.
Yes, and it's only in hindsight as I checked in with other people, I thought it was just me. There was things that drudged up to be cleared and to totally be loved free. And I felt it in relationships. It was very, very interesting. And it concerned me a little bit. But the lesson was, and I'm going to cry because it's the truth. The lesson was no matter how intense it could be in the relations, what comes up for people, if we can hold our center, then we are in power. And I want to say, when we move through this, with some of the relations that were going on, you could think, oh, Christmas is always a tough time. Holidays are always a tough time. But I wove the Ho'oponopono in everything. And it was really interesting, the magic that the Ho'oponopono offers. And I encourage everyone to continue to use it to say those four beautiful phrases. I love you, thank you, forgive me, I'm sorry. At one point, I was like, why do I need to say I'm sorry? Because I'm the one that is due an apology. But as we rise to the occasion and be the bigger person, it really is truly amazing the alchemy that comes from the Ho'oponopono. So it's interesting because, as you said, this sets the pace for this year. And it seems like this year could move pretty quickly. It seems like there's a quickening. What would you say as well in relation to that?
Absolutely, which is exactly why the equivalent of the intensity of that purging, we were pushed in acceleration to come to a point of completion, whether it's what we call utilizing the cosmic force of the cosmic forgiveness energies, embodying more sacred universal virtues and the virtue of patience, kindness, compassion. They're well beyond the human um, qualities. They're really universal virtues. And to choose more benevolent thoughts, to choose more benevolent presence, it's a new way of centering and grounding ourselves in that loving presence. And when we say, Lauren, loving presence, and imply that sense of true empowerment, that has nothing to do about I'm going to control situation, I'm going to control and go over it, or I'm going to push and get rid of emotion or an aspect. It's really coming into the sense of your empowerment, where you're recognizing with acknowledgments and sacred presence of either emotion like you beautifully displayed a moment ago, whether it's your relationship, whether it's family dynamic, whether it's events, whether it's the memory of someone that whose behavioral pattern or the residual of that behavioral pattern, it's still to some degree part of your field. When you recognize it, you're really stepping into a more quantum way of approaching old wounds, things that maybe hurt you, situation, or even ongoing aspect. So this is really choosing to be this higher version of you. In 2024, it's going to facilitate that new form of embodiment. This is where truly we're finally taking our power back. And what does it mean to take our power back? It's no longer the distortion version of being in our power, but more in terms of how spiritual, sovereign, independent, and very amazingly empowered beings of light. And as human being as well, we see a transition into the human field, and we see also a change in the definition of what it means to be a human being. That statement is shifting as well. So we want to move away from, oh, it's normal to make mistakes, it's just human. Let's just clear that out of the field, please. It's more in terms of, as a cosmic being, I recognize the lessons of what needs to be corrected, and that's more empowered. I'm sure you felt a difference here.
Yes, and I want everyone to write that down. That is a beautiful mantra. As a cosmic being, can you repeat that, please?
Yes.
As a cosmic being,
As a cosmic being, I recognize the lessons behind this event, situation, unresolved emotion. And this is how you step really truly into your empowerment, because you have acknowledgments, recognition, you become a more higher observant of that situation, and you're able to approach this and extract what this meant for you, and then shifting your perspective and how you can move forward. So this is where we're shifting into that new way of that cosmic human being. It's more of a universal way of embodying this sacred experience of being an earth human being, at the same time understanding that you are also universal, eternal, and divine by essence. So these aspects are coming back into that beautiful realignment. We need to bring this realignment together. And that is part of what we see in terms of I am an empowered person, divine being, man, woman, and whoever you are. This is really part of your spiritual sovereignty. So we need to release the old 3D polarized and very demeaning label around being a human. So like I mentioned earlier, oh, it's normal, you're only human. What does that even mean? It means nothing anymore. It's just, you're an ancient soul. You come here to bring frequencies of light. You're here to inspire others. You're here to help to shift an entire planet in this human form. So this is very empowering to be an Earth human. And this is why we need to shift even on the quantum conversation level, how we speak about our experience, how we speak about ourselves, how we speak about this civilization known as the Earth human beings. So this is part of the shift in 2024, and it's time we go like deep breath. We've been preparing for this, and here we are, here and now.
And your little Syrian friend there, little cattail wove in and said hello to us, and we say hello to that beautiful being. Okay, well, thank you, Viv,
Beautiful.
because then for those of us who can reflect back and sense that, wow, something was jibing a little weird, the energetics of that holiday was kind of a little strange, then we can see the task. We can see where our humanness came out, our feelings were hurt, maybe, depending. And yet here we are. It's almost as if I'm getting the vision of like an hourglass where here's our 3D human on the bottom, but our upper higher self, cosmic being, is that other, and we need to bring that together and open up that little sand grain funnel into something so expansive. And that seems like the task at hand. And that's the healing that comes from it when we can, I don't want to say be the bigger person by using the Ho'oponopono, maybe, but I don't want to label us like superior to the others who were having the trauma. But being a cosmic being and recognizing the energetics. And as you said earlier, it's a chance we take our power back. And taking our power back really means being aware of the feelings in our beingness. It's not what someone else does to us and blaming someone else, because that was really easy to go into, say, hey, it's Christmas Day and you're treating me like this. That's not fair. But instead saying this, the phrase that you said, I am a cosmic being, and I recognize that there's energetics here to be shifted. So it's really beautiful. I really hope that everyone who's watching and listening can sense what Viviane and I are saying, because you all are New Earth leaders, and this is the task. And it seems so simple, right? It seems so simple to really catch ourselves and transcend those feelings, to take responsibility for those feelings and step up in that way. Again, that's the empowerment. And so wonderful. So gaining self-empowerment, we're actually living it right now. It's a living library that we're experiencing it. And this quantum awareness for the planetary shift, then, as we all step up to do this, I can see the influence that it has on the others. Talk about that for a little moment, please.
Absolutely, Lauren. I love what you said as well, because becoming easy, it's also related to it's becoming more accessible. So we start to realize that what we speak of on a quantum awareness level, it's becoming more and more accessible. So I want to invite everyone to transition from, oh, if it's too easy, the subconscious may say, well, it's because there's something off about this. The opposition of it is that's because it's becoming much more accessible. And by accessibility leads to acceptance, and acceptance lead to opening new doorway of awareness. So it's helping others to step into that same possibility. We're really opening the field truly to these new potential. So we're starting to understand what is it that you and others around you, even though they may feel stuck or at different stages of awareness, of conscious evolution, what is it that you and others are truly capable versus what you think or what your mental mind still dictate to you to what is possible, impossible, the limitations. So you just realize that it is safe, it is time, and it's almost like you're finally giving yourself permission. And by doing that, you becoming truly a leader by example. When we talk about leading others by example, well, it's really start with you. Is the more you're witnessing multiple layers of veil completely dissipate. And what happens is that when those veils dissipate, you gain more clarity, understanding. You start to perceive others' behavior, all structures for what they really are. You start to understand them, to reveal the light behind it. So I'll give you a real life situation. So before the holiday season, I went through a series of really intense situations, and I'm being very energetic, sensitive, and super empathic. It went straight to my heart, and it almost threw me back. And I'm thinking, okay, I felt like I was being entangled into a series of overlays or many veils that was put onto me, and I could no longer see the clarity, and I was feeling very hurt. Okay. So I went through that right before Christmas, during the month of December. And so I had to really step out of the frame, understand, acknowledge how I feel, and I ask, please show me more clarity. And part of the clarity I gained was that there were other people involved, and some of the other people involved, that's because there are certain karmic energy they have to release. There are certain life lessons they still haven't learned. And I became entangled in that energy so I can see where there may be sensitivity for me, so I can actually gain more light. So think of it this way, you're becoming a bigger and stronger and higher giant of light because you're gaining more light. And that light is what really brings the understanding behind a situation. The situations, to some degree, some of them has been tempered and subsided, and others are still some residual that needs going to be addressed in due time. But I can feel that I no longer need to feel to control everything, to mentalize everything, to constantly review over and over that story into my mental field. I no longer need to contract myself emotionally. And instead, I gave myself the necessary space to allow how I felt, to understand that eventually what was happening, there was other layers behind it, whether it's to resolve some of old historical pattern for me and a karmic entanglement for others. And by taking a deep breath, I allow the space. So I decided I chose to give these beautiful people space, and I released the control of the pain, or the control of the lower mind, or I released any sense of control that could have been just kept me going in circle over and over. So that's a practical way to talk about a higher quantum way to approach life situation. Yes, we understand from the intergalactic groups there's going to be a lot of change on your planet. Yes, we understand that you're shifting out of familiarity or familiarized structures of way of living, perceiving yourself. Yes, we understand that's going to really push all of you forward. But at the same time, once you are stepping out of these entanglements or these overlays that keeps you always in a certain paradigm, you really understand going, oh, something higher is being revealed to me. And what is being revealed to you, it's a higher tapestry, a higher design. So sometimes we get attached to people or, experiences and everything. Well, those people need to learn, evolve, and they have their own journey to go through. And sometimes the best way to do it is to give everybody distance, to give the space, a sacred space, that can eventually, we can bring us, all of us, back in what we call the sacred realm of reunion. If that's the case, then it will happen naturally and organically. But in the meantime, the lesson, the learning I have gained, I can feel. I feel like I grow taller physically. I feel like my body has expanded. I can feel that my awareness has become much, much bigger, and it has doubled my concentration on my work. And I can getting new inspiration in terms of teachings, workshop, what I want to bring, what a direction I want to bring people to this year. So he has opened that field. I stepping into that intelligent field of new creation instead of being entangled into that old emotional restriction. So a personal situation presented in a quantum way, and this is where we're moving more and more. That makes sense, if that makes sense.
Oh my goodness, it makes total sense. Thank you so much for that, Vivian, because you spoke to so much. And I know that I'm reflecting on my situation and you are spot on. And I know others are experiencing that as well. And what I realized, as you were saying, let go of the control, because when someone is upset with me and I didn't feel that I gave them any reason to be upset, that's their karmic stuff, but yet I'm entangled with it. And so I felt the need to control. And, my immediate family around me, my son, the old soul that he is, said, let it chill, take a break, right? And so that you said the same thing too. And I wanted to use the Ho'oponopono right away, but my higher self was like, just listen and take a break. Everyone just let it simmer down. So the space was challenging, but what I discovered from that space is stepping back, is it did allow me to bring in a higher light, a higher perspective. And that came in the dream space for me. And I knew when it was time to step forward to this beautiful person in my life and say the Ho'oponopono in a way, because in this dream, we were spinning batons and doing aerobics together. And I thought it was hilarious. And so that dream space was the indicator. It's time now. Can we all get over it? And so to witness the shift and the alchemy from that is so remarkable every single time. That's why I encourage everyone to weave those phrases of the Ho'oponopono in. All right, so thank you for that. And again, let's put this on as a metaphor for every situation. If we can really catch ourselves in every situation, it's almost like identifying the human aspect and saying, no, 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 you don't have to go there. Reach for the higher aspect. Take the time out. Let them simmer, and then be there as a higher vibrational form of light. That really is remarkable. So it does make perfect sense. Thank you.
You are very welcome, Lauren, because we know that your father, mother, siblings, children, grandchildren, best friends, neighbors, everyone, all our souls have come to learn a certain evolutionary pathway. And there are some people we feel like, oh, they seem so stuck and they still abide by certain stories or emotional energies, and they still really got engaged into, storylines and the narrative. You have to understand, when you step back and you ask a different question, you're allowing on the mental level to open the higher channel of communication and transmission, which in turn increases your capacity for receiving higher form of response, guidance, and even a realization. So if you look at everyone right now, as we're going to be moving into the new timeline of 2024, there are those who, on the soul level, by soul design, will still need to go through certain overlays of experiences for higher understanding, integration, and it's part of them of releasing certain of karmic blockages. It doesn't mean that we're engaging into karmic energy between each other, is simply recognizing where there is pocket of heavier energy that maybe create a karmic blockages. And we have been working a lot more with what we call the karmic board for clearing those blockages. And they're a branch of the Akashic field. They're a branch of the Great Hall of Records. And when you work with the council for karmic clearing, you understand that it's no longer about just a soul contract or, I need to learn the lesson. It's a karmic energy. That too we start to need to release ourselves from, to unwind ourselves from sometimes these labels that we put on ourselves or situations. So instead of like post it with colorful pink one, it's I've been doing good, my heart is happy. Oh, green, I need to heal that. Or yellow, I need to release yourself from so many labels or the mental need to labelize or mentalize everything. It's just recognizing from where you are today, because you're no longer in the same field. You no longer need to repeat the same lessons as you were even 6 months ago or a year ago. You have shifted. You are in a different version of yourself. Even your cells have rejuvenated. Even your cells are no longer the same as they were even 14 days ago. So imagine from a conscious perspective how much you have shifted. Now, my Lyran girl is very active. So we have the Lyrans with us. That's my Bengal girl. And yes, it means that our body consciousness, our internal system, like the nervous system, really good observation, whether it's our lymphatic system, the hormonal system, everything is shifting because the cosmic design of the human template is designed to evolve as well along with you. This is no longer just for the great masters we've known throughout history or 3,000 years ago, or you have to spend 40 days in a cave of pure meditation. Those requirements are no longer relevant. Why? Because we have gone so far consciously on the planet and collectively and even on a quantum level that I would say just applying yourself every day to cultivate, embody, maintain, recognize will bring you much more far along. And if you just go through a retreat for 20 days, you meditate, you go, wow, this is it. I got it. There's a big revelation. It was amazing. I had to eat organic food for 20 days. You come back home and you go back into the same mental pattern. Then it shifts that. So it's more in terms interweave a new way of living into your day-to-day life. And that is powerful changes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for that perspective. It makes us look at ourselves. Just the past year flew by, like it flew by. And maybe this is what they say, age, as we get older, it just seems to move faster. But this is indicative of time itself disappearing and things accelerating so fast. And wow, when we look at ourselves a year ago, wow, congratulations, everyone. And it makes me look a year into the future. Can we already sense that? I can. And the power in that actually fortifies us right here, right now, so that no matter what we're going to experience, as we were given this little tester over the holiday season, I think
yes.
we're given a great lesson. Again, a great test. And there's going to be more, but I think we've got this. I truly hope that everyone has got this. So thank you. We're going to go, we're going to experience the Merkaba of light with you in today's session. I'm going to give you space for that. But there's some beautiful people with some questions, and we're going to get to those too. The first one is really interesting because as we've learned in this series, in this Soulshine series, we were talking about Metatron, the channel with Addison Ames, was talking about relate. And isn't that interesting? His words were relate. This is a year of relating. And isn't it interesting that the holidays brought us into a little juxtaposition on relating and gave us a little test of relating. And so as we relate, we're actually creating new timelines. So here's a question here. The question about collapsing old timelines to free up energy to create new timelines and new worlds. Archangel Metatron gave advice to go to bed and ask that old timelines be collapsed and completed, so we have new energy for new timelines. Please give us more guidance or info about this. This comes from Brigitte. She says, I've noticed specifically that it's happening for me, but strange things are happening with my conversations with people during the process. Like the conversations are being completely erased on the same day. Fascinating. All right, so timelines really collapsing the old and I want to say feeding the new, fueling the new.
Very, very fascinating concept. So we're going to add a layer of wisdom to from this directly from my Arcturian delegation. For us, it's more in terms of understanding the completion of timelines. Because instead of collapsing, when you move into a state of completion, then you can relate to on a higher level, because even the word relating is powerful in itself. At the same time, if there are still filters, we can say there's a potential for you to relate to another aspect of you that is still being unresolved. And then so what level of you are relating to what? And so that's because, Lauren, realities, any form of realities, it's a projection of your capacity to perceive that reality. And all of your sum of your experiences, even at the soul level, even on the historical level, through all of your senses, even your body structure, will relate to a certain level of reality. So, for example, when you travel or you go to a place, it can be a sensation of déjà vu. You can relate to the place. You can be potentially relating to that place because it's going to bring in or activate ancient memory connectors. And it's an aspect of you in a past life that relate to that place. Now ask yourself how this is still connected to the who I am today. By bringing yourself back to where am I today and what aspect or what version of myself am I today, you're allowing yourself to recognizing if there are still filters, known and unknown, conscious and unconscious, and also to be able to recognizing that level of a reality. Whether you work with Archangel Metatron, with the sacred geometric patterns, with the Merkaba of light, the sacred dimensional vehicle, I would say ask Archangel Metatron what aspect of a reality or a timeline am I ready to complete, and what other level of reality or timeline am I ready to co-create, embrace. This way, it's a continuous form.
Yes.
You see that flow? We co-creating a divine flow of pure creation here. It redefined the blueprint of that reality. And that blueprint is also redefining that of your physicality, your solar bodies of light, the blueprint of your mental capacity, the blueprint of your gifts, and the blueprint of your soul design. So it brings it this way. So this is why we love to have certain layers to just bring more depth to what has been shared, which is great wisdom. We're simply bringing another perspective to it, right?
Yes, okay. So the awareness of needing to complete a timeline, when that timeline is done, there was a part of me that would be scared or sad, meaning that the relationship has to be let go of. But I've got an example based on what you just shared, and it is a metamorphosis of a timeline. The person did not go away. In fact, oh, I'm getting chills here. People in our lives, through our love, will be in our lives forever by our choosing, unless there's destructive and violent and toxic relations that need to be said goodbye, good riddance. But even the timelines that we've created from the past, we can transform those timelines. We can complete one timeline, but then build it to the next, right? Like there's a thread of the new. So what I'm trying to articulate is that I have actually seen a shift towards a new timeline with certain relationships, and it's really quite remarkable. So this is the exciting thing. As we understand this a little bit better, we don't need to be worried about things ending or people dropping out of our lives unless it's necessary, but we can see where the shifts are becoming reality. That wow. And I did notice this just a few nights ago. It's like interesting. It's the new timeline. So that's exciting to me, and I hope everyone gets this and can work with it in that way, because it's to be embraced. Again, we can think that it's sad if we have to say goodbye to certain relations, but we can improve those relations. We can improve the timeline, because through love, we're going to love everyone all our lives.
Beautifully, beautifully said, Lauren, because once love is expressed, that imprint exists for eternity. That imprint of love still coexists. The other aspect of it is that you're able to recognize what no longer needs to be repeated in terms of old relationship lessons. There's no need to repeat the same stories or history over and over. This is what it's called clearing old time loops. And you can think of other people or past relationship with fondness. You can still hold that person or that group of people in fondness and their light, but without having to say, I force myself to go through that, down the pathway that that person or that group of people have chosen, because I distinctively recognizing that I am in a different pathway. And imagine the empowerment behind that choice to say, I allow myself to be fully in synchronicity with my pathway without feeling responsible or emotionally tied up to somebody else's pathway or journey. And some pathways sometimes are designed to walk through two different parallel. They can separate for a time and then whoop, they're going to cross again. And then they go on. They're like two different parallels of reality, journey, lessons, growth, soul evolution. When we teach souls, when we coach and teach soul to choose their next level of evolution, it's never depending on another soul or forcing them to go back to reliving again and again like a time loop the same lesson just because they feel obligated to be with someone or to stay in a relationship or to perpetuate the same lessons or karmic implication. It's allow yourself the freedom, the energetic freedom and the emotional freedom to expand to the next level of learning. I hear that all the time, Lauren, whether it's my clients, whether it's an ex-spouse, oh, it was difficult to leave the marriage. But once the moment I did, my heart went into a huge expansion, and then my true compatible soulmate came along. I could have never imagined that. That's an example of this. Or to say, I have learned so much from you, even though it may not be abusive, mentally, emotionally, I have learned so much. I am now able to release that part of you and that part of myself. And I'm allowing both of us to expand and evolve the way that we need the most. That becomes from a highest and greatest good. And sometimes even between family members, you will see that certain members are going through a huge purification, whether it's through health distortion, mental energy, emotional. You can still hold a space with them with the recognition that you have nothing to learn from that purification. It is part of their transformation and metamorphosis. At the same time, when they are ready, you can come back together and say, now we'll talk. Now we're ready to have a different, a higher conversation that will support the highest and the greatest good of all. And that's going to be important for all of us on the planet to unwind ourselves from false level of responsibility, emotional attachments, or being programmed mentally that it's okay, I go by, I can deal with that. No, this is just another way for you to stay at a lower frequency, and you are preventing yourself. You are denying yourself the joy of a next level of metamorphosis. 2024, it's the beginning of what the Arcturians speak of a triple gateway of light. And what does it mean is that we have truly entered into finally an accelerated evolutionary process that going to catalyst all of us into the ascension pathway. The 2024, 25, 26, we are really into that triple gateway. It is very potent. Now, last year, when we came into 2023, or the timeline of 2023, we were in a binary year. So 2023 was designed to support energetically the building or the co-creation of 2024. So many of the seeds, many of the work, all of the purging, everything we've experienced, even on the planetary level, was designed for this. Now we are at the entrance point of the next level. So you have to ask yourself, what aspect of myself is co-creating what and for what purpose? So every day, where are you? Where are you invested the most? And it's something I said and in other events. Allow me to repeat something very important. It is time to wear life like a loose garment. And that includes political changes, presidential election, changes in structures, whether it's medical, financial. Let's all of us wear life and the changes on the 3D level like a loose garment. So it avoid feel suffocating, fearful. It prevents you from retracting into that field that you can no longer see the tree for the forest or the forest for the tree. Wear those changes like a loose garment. And that's where the Merkaba of light can come through. Because if you're utilizing this sacred dimensional vehicle of light, imagine yourself being in that Merkaba of huge metamorphosis, and you moving through the changes, a little bit like a loose garment. It gives you the space to breathe, to feel, to recognize, analyze, and to bring clarity to what is it you really looking at. So allow the Merkaba of light to carry you to the higher dimensional aspect of living, the new earth of unity, higher consciousness, finally returning to who we really, really are, and not just masking those identity that we're taking on. So let's breathe, and I choose to wear life like a loose garment. It's such a fantastic image.
Yes, thank you. Wow. And I truly hope that others have written this down, put it on a sticky note. Absolutely. Because when we remember that, wow, we can breathe and we can flow and we're not restricted. And that is a beautiful way to fuel the timelines with our love and with the Merkaba of light. We're going to go into more of that. I've got a question about that in a moment. But here is an interesting question from Jody. Hi, Jody Joy. She says the individual completion of a timeline was discussed. And I think you did just answer the question in your last statement there. What is your perspective, Vivian, on the collective timeline and the shift? I think you did answer it a little bit in that last comment, but please, as a whole, I guess if we stay in this center with the garment of life as loose clothing, then we're helping with the collective timelines. Talk more on this.
Absolutely. And Julie, thank you for the wonderful question. And Lauren, I agree with you in the sense that for many, many, many of us, all the light workers, the star seed, the beings of return, we are now deciding and we choose collectively. And moving forward today, here and now, we are living in the way that we're embracing already that ascension. You know, we can see the earth shifting into that new version of herself. Mother Gaia is shifting. Whether you're ready or not, she is ready. And we have been preparing her or preparing with her, because Gaia is a force of nature, it's a force of the universe. And the earth herself, or Mother Gaia, Mother Terra, is ready to move into the second harmonic universe and to embrace and return into a more ascended fifth dimensional frequency energy. And then it will be beyond that after a while. We're going to move beyond fifth dimensional frequencies. So the collective timeline that 2024 offers, which is the beginning of a triple gateway, is really that shift. And yes, there will be those, there's a group of souls on the planet that will continue to sustain a more third dimensional frequency, because that baseline of third dimensional frequency, still within the duality and the polarization, it's what they need for their evolution for a while. Remember, we can never prevent a soul from evolving. It's just a universal law. And even the intergalactic advanced group, we know that. What we're here to is to encourage you and remind you effortlessly and over that within you, you carry the encoding of everything you need to know. Everything, all the tools, all the gifts, all the wisdom, all the knowledge is encoded in you. So collectively, we are shifting, we are moving in that direction. So loving practical wisdom, allow yourself to be more focused. The word is concentration. Concentrate on being of service. If you are a healer, continue. Concentrate of implementing that new way of living, that new awareness. And what that means is avoiding distraction. There's no need to feed a paradigm of AI intelligence. There's no need, it's just another distraction. It really is a distraction. There's no need to feed about how much you know of the galactic history. All you have to do is ask. Get into the Merkaba of light. Ask the guardians and the gatekeeper of the galactic hall of records and says, I need to understand aspect of the galactic history, and it will be shown to you. You will be given what you need the most, not what your mind wants to know. That's the difference. All you have to know is ask for it. Remember, feel, where are you every day? Are you living in the sacred pulse of that change? Can you feel Gaia saying, I am going back into my ascended self? Because I have been holding that third dimensional bridge for thousands of years. We have finally reached that awakened state. And yes, there's going to be pushback from the third dimensional frequency to convince you, play on the lower primal energies of fear, scarcity. Am I going to have enough food to eat? Am I going to have water to drink? That's a parallel here. But you are at that point where we can collectively says, we're living in an abundant universe. The planet is generous, abundant. The resources are available, and I choose to invest my energy, my frequency, my belief system in physically anchoring that reality. And it may sound easy, but it will require discipline, concentration, and willpower. Really much so. Because this is where it's moving. And I understand there's so much going on online with conferences and all kinds of events. We understand. But again, that's to extract the noise from the true knowledge. What is the empowerment? Are you being encouraged to be the highest version of yourself? Are you being encouraged to reach your highest potential? If so, then perfect. If you are encouraged to doubt and create distraction and convince you of certain things, ask yourself, is this really where I wish to be? Is this the metamorphosis that I wish to see for myself, my family, my friends, my communities, and for an entire beautiful world called the Earth? That's a powerful question here. That's going to serve you very, very well, especially this year.
Thank you for that, Viviane. Really special. And I want to just say that, you know, for all of us, and thank goodness for all the online conferences and things, because there's such powerful tools that are going to continue to reinforce and fortify us as we move on our journey, because we can get knocked off kilter. So these are incredible tools to use. And, you know, as we're talking about the Merkaba of light, I find it interesting in one of the most powerful tools that I use. There's a couple of them, and I've talked about this before, but I just want to share briefly that, you know, when I reflect back on a day and maybe things that didn't go exactly in the highest performance from this perspective that I could have shown up in, I instantly do Kadosh, 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 Adonai Sobayat. And I do it in a geometric form of a octahedron, which then becomes the Merkaba, two four-sided triangles. Kadosh, 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 Adonai Sobayat on the bottom. And then I infuse it with the violet flame and I spin it and I see the triangles come into the Merkaba. And so I don't know where I picked this up. It's just a tool that makes me feel really good. Can you share a little bit about what's happening there as we go into maybe a little experience of the Merkaba of light with you for just a few moments?
Whichever approach you want to have, it's going to be very personal in terms of the frequency and the vibrational exchange you will have for the Merkaba. There's no need to add words to it. I'm glad that for you, that methodology worked really well because it's in resonance with you. But at the same time, I want to make it accessible to everyone, because otherwise the mind can engage and you can already see people going, can you repeat that? What is the word? I have to write it down. No. That's nothing to do with that, everyone. It's what best for you, Lauren, and that I felt the empowerment behind it for you, and I want to acknowledge you in that sense. At the same time, for everyone, the Merkaba of light, it's really a sacred, very high level of energetic pattern in the form of sacred geometry that becomes a dimensional vehicle. And you can utilize your I am presence to empower the energy of the Merkaba of light. Again, like any other tools, if it brings you empowerment, facilitate your connection, enhance your ability to stay more connected, then perfect. Otherwise, you can even see this beautiful pyramid of light and say, I enter the sacred domain of my I am presence. That could be another way to approach this. Some people are more visual and others, sometimes some mind like to visualize more complex sacred geometric pattern, and others just want to feel the experience of the connection. So we want to honor all of you and everywhere you are and at the state of consciousness that you are. So the Merkaba of light, think of it as an energy sphere, and the Merkaba carry you into higher dimensional experiences, whether it's more unity consciousness, experiencing true unconditional love, love as a sacred virtue, love as the ultimate substance of all, which has nothing to do with emotional human experience. This is not an emotion. it really is a way of being. It's reactivate the sacredness of your being. Whether you choose to enter the sacred energetic sphere of light or in the form of a complex Merkaba of light to help you communicate better with your higher self, it becomes a training tool for you. Everything that gives you that empowerment, that sense that you are evolving, shifting, it activates something, becomes permanent with you. This is what we call establishing new foundation. And as you are rebuilding new foundation, changes becomes much more acceptable, much more fluid, much more natural. You feel already the change by invoking the Merkaba and how you can use it as multifaceted of this using. You can change the blueprint of any event, the blueprint of your own timeline. You can utilize it in so many ways. That's why we want to give you more possibilities.
Beautiful. Wow. I love the simplification of it. It's just an invocation of that sphere of light without making too much mental stuff out of it. Just feel it and sense it. And wonderful tools that we all have. And again, it just brings great comfort. And I'm uplifted right now in this show, and I hope everyone is uplifted in this show right now, because wow, it is easy to get distracted. It is easy to peek at the news. It is easy to, wow, here we are in the 21st century and we still have war. What the heck is that all about? But I can see the perspective that it's a continuous awakening process for others as well, isn't it? So no matter where we are, you know, I've heard before, Lisa Transcendence Brown says this, reality is right here in front of you. If it's not in front of you right here, 3 feet in front of you, it's not your reality. So moving with that, then we can observe the situation in the world, but our individual bubble of reality is the utmost important. And that's how we show up in the world, and we interact and have bubbles of other people, and you merge with other bubbles and demerge and go back into individuality. But that really is the importance here, is that we bring in this higher perspective in all ways, and beautiful tools to do that.
Absolutely, absolutely, Lauren. Last year when I was in Egypt, if I had retracted myself to match the reality of how people live, how government perceive, then I would miss completely the opportunity to do my work or to implement the next level of frequencies. I had to acknowledge in parallel a certain level of a reality, and I brought in another level of another reality. And my reality, or that higher reality, was to inspire the lower frequency to rise, to
Yes.
create positive changes, to create. So if you look even throughout Middle East, you can tell if you really open your third eye and you look in terms of deeper that what is really happening. You can ask, reveal a bigger design to me, help me understand so I can decode. You can tell that there's a very ancient, very polarized layer of history that's coming to the surface, and that create a clash or a temporary time loop or a paradox through what the old ways coming in and the rising on the planet. So just that one example in the world, like around Middle East, on the timeline level, we knew that that has to come to that point in terms of clearing. It has to be extracted, these old roots of conflict, war, conflict, scarcity, manipulation based on religion, faction, based on government manipulation. This is all part of the 3D polarized field. That can no longer be sustained. So what do you think happened? This movement, like a volcano, that can no longer hold the excess of fire or gaseous energy, well, it has to come to the surface so the volcano can reset itself again and settle into a new reality. Well, there's a lot of these changes. Just that one example of being in Egypt last year, the masters of light, the beings of light comes to me and asks me, how come this part of this world has descended so deep into unconscious separation, conflict? What happened to this part of the world? And the answer is simply say, well, it's complex, the masters, but now we're all coming back together to heal and repair and bring or stimulate the next metamorphosis. And that's what we're witnessing, a huge metamorphosis. So when you're utilizing the Merkaba of light to feel that light, spirit, a body connection within that beautiful vehicle, dimensional vehicle of light, and you stepping into it, ask, I am ready to embrace more and more transformation. I am ready to embrace the configuration and the form, to embrace that higher aspect of myself. I am ready to return into that more aligned aspect of me. I am ready to restore that inner equilibrium. You can utilize it also to help restore equilibrium in the world. But you have to look in terms of what paradox of time loop are we witnessing. But to us, we look at war, conflict, suffering, all of it. Yes, there's something much deeper going on, because this 3D way, I can tell you 2024 on, they can no longer be sustained the same way. There's a divine remembrance that is reawakening worldwide and globally. And I've seen that a lot last year with all the trips we've done, all the sacred site, even talking to guardians who've been there for thousands of years. Even their perspective have changed. We are in that metamorphosis. So, Lauren, thank you for that word, metamorphosis. It really is.
I am reminded of so many people last year. It seemed like last year was the year of Egypt. So many groups were going to Egypt. So many groups went to Egypt. And it wasn't just last year, it's been building. And so that field was definitely affected by all of those beings going to Egypt. And so even though there's war there now, there are still trips that people are taking to Egypt. And be in your heart and go boldly if you choose to go. But wow, I see the work that's being done from that. Yes, there is work on a higher level being done by those who choose to go at this time.
Yes, and everyone who set foot to before and leading up to where we are today. So we are really looking at the emergence of a very stable, very empowered timeline that we are giving all of us the opportunity as an invitation to embrace your time to reascend. Let's return to our original state. Let's return to that place of being empowered. What does it mean? Self-healing, telepathic communication, living in complete unity consciousness with each other, understanding the universal concept, the universal laws, being able to remembering that you have lived in different timelines, that you are multidimensional, that you carry so much knowledge and you have access to all of it. It's time to, it's almost like letting go of that old shell of, this is my story, this is what happened to me, this is what I've learned, this is what I can do, and I'm still trying to figure things out. This is old ways. You no longer need to figure things out anymore. It's simply to say, I am ready to remember more revealed to me. I am ready to embody every day. I cultivate it. I am ready, therefore I stay concentrated. So it's more in terms of implementing what you've been preparing for, ready for, to embrace, enhance. You can utilize the Merkaba of light as a sacred tool. You can utilizing also to bring yourself back into that alignment, be able to heal your body, open your mind, connecting, activating your channel. You can do all of it. We're going to be offered more potentials. So this is important to take care of the foundation, because your foundation is what's going to allow you, all of us, to really blossom, shift. It is really the time we have finally entered that timeline of powerful re-ascension. This is how we call it. It's the reascending, it's the return, the going back into claiming who we are. And we're no longer bound by the past history. We're no longer bound by past intergalactic choices from other groups. We are moving away from this. It's really the beginning of really powerful transformation.
Wonderful. Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much for this. I wanted to say that this conversation is an activation. It really is. The tools and the discussion has been very, very helpful. But I want to give you a moment. I want to give you a moment to maybe, if there's a message from your Arcturian family, or if there's a process, there's a question here, how do we, maybe you have a video, or maybe you want to do a process now on how we rebalance, reset, and clear the nervous system. Or actually, I want to give you and the Arcturians something that you can sense and feel for just a few moments. Do we have time
Yes.
for that? Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Will be condensed, will be practical, just a few minutes. Absolutely. Thank you for asking. We invite everyone right now to closing your eyes just for a moment. And by closing your mind, imagine that you are entering into a sacred relationship to your inner universe, which means starting with your lungs. Can you feel the expansion of your lungs? Carry more oxygen. Oxygen turn into energy. Energy is light. So let's engage into a conscious breath. And what it means by that is to be fully present. Choose to breathe by expanding your lungs with oxygen, to feel your bloodstream being nurtured. Revitalize. Allowing all of your internal organs and systems, including the nervous systems, to be refreshed, revitalized. And by breathing deeply to your light and exhaling to your light. And we invite you to see and feel that your sacred internal gateways, known as the nervous systems, are being reset. And as you keep breathing, imagine and feel opening the gateway to your universal chakra, to your crown, allowing more universal light to come through your body, through your spine. So feel the universal light flowing through your spine, refreshing all of your internal vortexes of light, known as the chakra system, to bring the universal and the earthly chakra back together in sacred alignment, to feel your spine expanding all the way down to the hips area, the tailbone, allowing the universal light to flow through your legs, past your feet, and imagine and feel the ley lines of your body, or the acupuncture points of your body expanding. And you still keep breathing, expanding the light. Let everything from inside out expanding. And now I choose to reset my energy I reset my mind. I reset my heart. I refresh all of my senses. I bring myself back into a divine neutrality. 0 point. I reset. Deep breath. Let everything flow. Perfect. Let's everything settle in. And now from this refreshed perspective, when you gently open your eyes, you can ask, now show me. Now reveal to me what is my next step. Now I am ready to embrace my day or to continuing my day from where I am. Now I am ready to go to work, drive the kids to school. Now I am ready to go and embrace my day. How can I be of service today? Beautiful. Choose your own words. Remember positive words in the now. How can I be of service now? The now unfold into itself, into a cascading effect of future energies. Allow yourself to be, I reset, I refreshed, I am here now. Now I am ready to move forward. Very easy, very straightforward, practical, and yet the empowerment behind it is phenomenal. This is what we speak of. You'll find there's a great many things that you're going to be able to simplify and extract the true power of what you're learning. Tools, affirmation, powerful online events like with Lauren Daily, or right on the network, or with a teacher that you trust, that you feel the empowerment, the alignment with. You'll know. We always says, walk in the certainty of your light. The certainty of your light is bring you that foundation. You can be in a busy airport. Take a time to reset. I take several deep breaths to my heart. I reset. I refresh all of my senses. I walk in the certainty of my light. Then go ask for a ticket or a flight change or take action, be present. You're no longer at the mercy of absorbing everything around you because other people are still on autopilot. You're no longer in that reality. You're no longer living that way. You're no longer on this autopilot that the third dimensional matrix reality wants you, counts on you to stay. You're no longer giving in any fueling energies. I no longer live on autopilot. I live in the certainty of my light. I am an aware being. And that's what we need the most in 2024. Because the changes we're capable of creating, it's phenomenal. And we know that we, meaning the many enlightened intergalactic groups, your brothers and sisters, we know that about you. Now we need you to know this about you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Viviane Chauvet. That is really a magical and powerful tool. And I know that the world has already shifted with all of us doing this. There was 111 people on our YouTube channel watching this at that moment as we concluded that. Walk in the certainty of your light. That is so powerful. And I think that is perfect for another sticky note to put on your computer, in your office, in your car, on your fridge, wherever. Walk in the certainty of your light. Put that in your pineal gland and remember that, because there's no doubt. And when we do feel doubt or wake up in the wee hours of the morning, that is such a beautiful mantra to behold. and elevate and cultivate our light within. Okay, really powerful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you everyone for being here. Oh my goodness. If you would like to work with Viviane Chauvet, you can see how beautiful of a light worker she is. We actually have an event coming up. It's coming up if you scroll down on this webpage or in the description of wherever you're watching or listening to this show, you'll see she has a Starseed Soul Blueprint activation. It's coming up on February 4th. And if you miss it, it'll be recorded. It's quantum and it's timeless, this activation. Viviane, tell us about this activation. What is going to happen?
Absolutely. Thank you, Lauren. We have chosen to create this opportunity for all of us because there's so many star seeds and people are returning to understand their cosmic origin. It also supports the DNA movement, the DNA evolution. So what we're going to be doing is working with a multitude of star group frequencies for dimensional activation and transmission. That includes from the Pleiades, Sirius, Andromeda, Lyra, the galactic whales, the beautiful galactic whales and dolphins, the Octurians, and many more. So what we're going to be doing is helping to bring in each level of dimensional or star group frequency into your field and allowing yourself to feel, as I receive these activations, I choose to consciously awaken aspect of my DNA strand, or activating the ancient archives of memories within myself, resolving also old pattern associated with old frequencies, being able to move into a more original soul blueprint, and so forth. So in a nutshell, that's an aspect and essence of what we'll be doing on Sunday, February 4th. It is from 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So make sure you check on Google the translation of your time zone. And like Lauren mentioned, you can still sign up and watch the replay. It will be the same Crowdcast, which is the platform, the same Crowdcast link to join live and watch the replay afterwards. So if you missed the live version, I can assure you the imprint, the quality of the transmission will be the same. It's done on a quantum level, so it is beyond the timestamp of the event. It is beyond the 3D. It is the same beautiful energetic experiences.
Yes, well, this experience today was just as vibrant as well. And I know that one of the biggest questions that we have is, how do I understand my galactic lineage? That's actually that's the next phase of our evolution, is to really truly understand those aspects of ourselves. So it's beautiful that you're putting on this workshop to assist us in that way. All of the workshops that you do are really exquisite and so supportive on our journey. So thank you for that. We invite everyone to join us. It is such a treat. It is being held in the cosmic frequencies of your soul. As you remember this, it is a homecoming, and it empowers you to move on the planet like silk, silk of love. So enjoy, everyone. Thank you. Viviane, as we say goodbye, I just want to say, I love your teachings, your frequency, your wisdom. You always uplift us, and we are so grateful. As we say goodbye, any final thoughts? Thank you.
Gratitude. The multitude of gratitude for you, Lauren, for your work, for this opportunity that you co-create with so many beautiful, empowered teachers, including myself and my group. I am grateful also for recognizing what we bring. Gratitude to you, because you remember, you're the one boots on the ground. You're the one who have said yes to the mission. You're the one who the earth and the cosmos have chosen, so to speak. So we are grateful for you. And there's no need to speak online or to have an office to do healing work. There's so many ways to be truly of service. Just being conscious aware of where your energy fuel the most. Help support the earth, help animals to bridge that gap with other life form. That's huge. So grateful is the word that we wish to gift you as an energy right now.
We all receive that word of gratitude, and we are grateful as well. And again, we are grateful for every heart watching this and being with us today and watching the recording. Wow, we can feel it. Remember this, anchor it, and radiate it. Viviane Chauvet, thank you so much. Many blessings. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. See you again. I want to say Quantum Conversations begins next week. We're back for a whole new series. We have been changing things up, and we are looking forward to everyone joining us. Thank you for being a part of this Soul Shine Conversation Summit series. And thank you for shining your bright light. Again, we are grateful. Namaste.
So shine, so shine, shine bright. So shine, so shine, shine bright.
This has been a presentation of New Earth One Network, your home for New Earth living. Access information, education, and videos on living from the heart in unity consciousness. Visit newearth1.com.